I'm thinking about getting a Switch.
Oh yeah?
Mm-hmm.
For like the exclusive games or whatever.
For Zelda Breath of Wild. The new Metroid game that's coming out. Probably next
Yeah.
year. Mario Kart 8 wouldn't be bad to have. And then there's Splatoon 2 maybe. And then there's
Hey.
also, they're gonna put a main title Pokemon game on the system.
Yeah, that's true.
But above all those reasons, the biggest reason's Zelda.
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, everybody seemed to love that game.
And then maybe Mario Odyssey. I don't know.
I don't know. Mario Odyssey looks like
It looks
just...
It looks like a good platformer, but it just looks weird and out of place. Because you have Mario interacting with like normal people.
Yeah, it looks really... Maybe that'd be something like you rent or something.
Like, if it comes with the Switch that I buy with, like the bundle, then sure.
Yeah. In that case, probably, yeah, that'd be, like, acceptable.
But it wouldn't be on my top priority of Switch games to own. I'd probably get a second copy of 2K18 before I got that. Considering the Switch is a hybrid.
Yeah.
It's the best of both worlds. A console and a handheld.
I don't understand why Nintendo wants to do that so bad. Like, it's both. You guys, it's okay. It works.
Because they've dominated the handheld market since its inception.
Yeah, but maybe they should stick with what they know.
They know both. They're like one of the only out of all three consoles, they've been the most game oriented and focused.
Yeah,
Then Sony, then Microsoft. Because that's basically all Nintendo is a video game company.
Yeah. I think they just try too hard though for the Switch to be...
Not really.
Like
the Switch outsold the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One this summer.
Well, yeah, this summer, but they've been out for a while.
I know, in the 6 months, and they've outsold both systems 4 out of the 6. I think Sony beat them in March and May.
Yeah, but most people already have the systems, that's why. That's why I think, anyway, because, I mean, still new. They're still, you know, a lot of people, like, that don't really care one way or the other for it, and then, I don't know, it's just probably not going to sell a whole lot of, like, it's not going to sell the PlayStation and stuff aren't gonna sell as many because they've been out for like a few years now. And they've already sold most of their copies that they're going to. At this point, I'm roaming around, just trying to find a shovel. You think there would be a shovel by the graveyard, wouldn't you?
I don't know, this is a video game. Who knows?
Maybe there's something inside.
Yeah, soap and trash can. Because that makes sense. Inside the church, yeah.
Well, he doesn't have a shovel, though.
This wouldn't be an issue on the beach.
I thought there was just lots on the beach. Or did you get a lot of shovels, too?
I felt like there were shovels everywhere back in the first part of the game.
Well, we can go back there, then.
Isn't that where we're supposed to go, in general?
Yeah, probably.
'Cause I'm pretty sure the quest line is go talk to Jen and take the food to the lifehouse, or to the lifeguard post. And apparently Breath of Wild has already sold more copies than Twilight Princess has in Japan.
Nipples aren't handholds.
Doesn't surprise me. It's like a beautiful looking game.
Because I guess as of right now, I think the Switch has over 4 million sales. And Breath of Wild on the Switch has like over 3 million sales. And Breath of Wild on the Wii U has like 1 million. So pretty much 3/4 of the people who own a Switch own Breath of Wild.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I'm pretty sure the people who don't own Mario Kart or Splatoon 2.
Yeah, that would make sense too. I would.
Because those 3 games right there have been like, I wouldn't say the oldest, but Breath of the Wild and Mario Kart definitely. Splatoon 2 maybe not, but it could be a system seller for people who've played Splatoon.
Oh, that's so pretty. Yeah.
Also, did you see where everybody was freaking out because Mario has nipples?
Really?
Yeah, there's a shirtless Mario in Mario Odyssey. Or they released a shirtless Mario screenshot from Mario Odyssey and people were freaking out. Because,
Oh my
one,
goodness.
Mario hasn't been shirtless. Except for once, and that was on a 2D game that was from like a really, really long time ago, and they didn't have enough sprites to give him nipples.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why everybody's freaking out, because this is the second time he's been shirtless, and he finally has nipples.
I don't understand why it matters.
Neither do I, it's just people making fun of something. Also, there was a meme where it showed Link shirtless from Breath of the Wild, and then it showed Mario shirtless from Mario Odyssey, and then they're like, Samus gonna go shirtless in the new Metroid game?
Oh my goodness. They wish.
It's like, damn guys. They've objectified her enough. She's already like, I'm pretty sure Metroid was like T for teen.
I don't know.
The Metroid Prime series.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really played Metroid.
The only one I've ever played is I think Metroid Prime 3. And that was because Keith got the game for his Wii. Yeah, the Metroid Prime series was rated T for teen. Metroid Prime Hunters on the DS was rated T for teen. So yeah, when Metroid switched to 3D, they got rated T for teen. And I'm pretty sure it's because probably how over-sexualized Samus is.
Yeah. We should go do this, this thing quick here.
Damn it, it doesn't tell you why. On the back of the case. Because The Legend of Zelda was once rated E for everyone, and then when they redid them, it got rated E for everyone 10 and up.
For fantasy violence, I'm guessing.
Well, because of the well sections.
Because of the well sections?
Yeah, you go to the bottom of the well, and there's also the Shadow Temple, and it's like basically a horror. Mini horror. Yeah, even Breath of the Wild's rated for everyone 10 and up. But yeah, the bottom of the well has like an enemy called the Dead Hand. And it's really messed up. Not to mention, the Shadow Temple itself is basically like a torture temple. Basically.
That's crazy.
And there's also a dead hand in the Shadow Temple. So you fight the dead hand once as a child at the bottom of a well. Then you fight him again as... I find it funny how they say he's an adult Link, but he's 17. It's like, okay, Japan, if you consider 17-year-olds adults. And then he's like 12 in Majora's Mask. Which is the start of the child timeline. And what's really funny is, you know, all the toony looking games?
Yeah.
Wind Waker, Phantom Hourglass, and Spirit Tracks and all them. They're from the adult timeline. That's the timeline that happens when Link decides to not go back to a child.
Is Breath of the Wild a child or an adult then?
They haven't said, but there's 3 timelines. You have the heroes defeated timeline, adult, and child timeline.
Oh, you just passed through where you're going.
Child timelines when Link does take Zelda's offer and goes back as a child. The adult timelines when he's like, nah, I don't want to go back to a child. I'm good with skipping those 7 years. And then the third timeline's when he dies. Whenever on the journey. He just dies and Ganon takes over the world and he's like, I'm shedding my Gerudo form forever. I'm gonna be a demon for the rest of my life, which is why in the Hero Defeated timeline you never see Ganondorf. He's always Ganon. And that's what's really funny is that Zelda, or The Legend of Zelda, the first game, Zelda 2, Adventures of Link, A Link to the Past, they're like the first 3 games to come out, and they're all from the Heroes Defeated timeline. And I'm pretty sure Link 2 is like the last one in that timeline right now. And the first game's like right before that, and then A Link to the Past is the start of the Heroes Defeated timeline. And it's the very first few games. And the only things I can think of that are also in that timeline is Oracle and Ages, and obviously A Link Between Worlds, which is a sequel to A Link to the Past. In the sense that Majora's Mask is a sequel to Ocarina of Time. And so some people are saying that Breath of the Wild could be in the Defeated Heroes timeline because you never see Ganondorf. He's just Calamity Ganon. That, and there's a stripe on his hat, which you only see in the Heroes Defeated timeline. He never has a stripe on his hat in any of the other timelines. It's always a solid green hat. And then in the child's timeline, which is funny, because it has 2 of the darkest games. Majora's Mask, obviously, is the first game in the child's timeline. And then after that's Twilight Princess, which is the game that tries too hard to be dark. And then that's followed by Four Swords Adventure on the GameCube, which is a game which is easily skipped. It almost feels like it's not that important at all. And then there's another theory saying that it could reconverge the timelines.
So there aren't different timelines in there.
Because the thing they're getting at is that it reconnects the child and the adult timeline. Because obviously it wouldn't be the Heroes Defeated timeline, because that would be a completely separate universe.
Wait, you're not getting back up here.
Because I was watching game theories video on it, and he says it's in the Heroes Defeated timeline because of the fact that Ganon's always Ganon. He'd shed his Gerudo form completely by this point. And he has that stripe on his hat, which is only seen in the Heroes Defeated timeline. But they do make reference to the Twilight Princess. And they also make reference to an ancient sea, which brought people to Wind Waker and Phantom Hourglass. Because that game is like the Hylian gods flooded the earth because of Ganon.
Yeah, Matt, get away from there. You don't want to get your eye.
So people thought the ancient sea was referring to that. And then that's when we're like, wait, but what if it's talking about both and it reconverges them? I think it's so confusing. Because before Ocarina of Time and the Time Split, you have Skyward Sword, which is the first game in the series, chronologically, obviously, because it came out in 2011. It was the 25th anniversary game, and it's the first in the series. And then I think after that it goes Minish Cap, which was a Game Boy Advance game, and then I think it's Link's Awakening. I might go Link's Awakening, Minish Cap, but it goes one of those two. The first Four Swords game, and then Ocarina of Time. And I just find it funny that they didn't do any of the first games prior to Ocarina of Time. The games that take place before Ocarina of Time, they didn't do any of those until like, I want to say 04. Because I know Minish Cap came out in 2004. Skyward Sword came out in 2011. Four Swords, the first one was like around 04 too. Because it came out alongside the Game Boy Advanced version of A Link to the Past. You know, so people who didn't have a Link cable or friends could still play something. Because for some odd reason, you had to play that Four Swords Adventures game with somebody. You couldn't play it by yourself. You had to have 3 other people.
Well, that's just kind of shitty.
But it was paired alongside with Ocarina of Time, Link to the Past, which you could play by yourself, obviously, as they just ported it from the, what was it? I want to say this one was it was on the SNES. This was the SNES Legend of Zelda title.
I'm gonna get him out of there, and then you go to the computer and hack it or whatever.
Because that's what I had. In fact, A Link to the Past was the first Legend of Zelda game I ever beat.
Be careful!
You get it?
Yeah, it told me to press square again. Not press square. I was back.
No.
Here, I'll see him back now.
Okay, I'll download the data. But yeah, I may have played Ocarina of Time first, but I was too young to know what the hell I was doing, so I just literally roamed around. So I never really actually beat it. Well, we had the Nintendo 64. How many times do I have to download this damn data? Wait a second. says search the room and find the file.
Oh my god, fine, I won't.
But I swear I've downloaded this thing like 3 different times.
There you go. I don't know if
See?
why do we have to kill the thug?
Oh yeah, I remember I lied. Link's Awakening came out in like 93 for the Game Boy.
It's okay, I got my boomerang back.
But I guess in Breath of Wild, you know how in the past Zelda games you always had like dungeons and temples? That would take upwards of 10 to 30 minutes. So I guess in Breath of Wild, they have like mini short shrines to do. And there's like over 100 of them. And you have like complete freedom of what order you do them in. And technically, once you start the game, you could literally go and fight the final boss. Granted, odds are you're gonna die.
Yeah, I would say you'll probably die.
That and you're not stuck with that green Hylian outfit.
Yeah. Did it work finally yet?
I don't know.
Why? It's not working. It's because of this.
But
Oh, I found it. We had to find the file.
boom. Alright, let's go to Tim. It just says go to Tim.
You can turn that light out, it might help. Emma, you wanna go sleep?
Oh yeah, you know what I noticed on the PlayStation Store today? Fucking Street Fighter V 2017 Deluxe Edition.
Why would anybody want that?
I don't know.
Pretty sure nobody wants that game.
I swear to God, out of all the games, Capcom will milk the most before making a new game itself for the franchise is Street Fighter. Because you might know it's on the Switch, Street Fighter 4.
No change, no problem.
I don't think they've milked a game more than Street Fighter 4.
I don't think so either.
Because it's
Like,
on the
just an
3DS,
inch.
it's on the PlayStation 4. I'm pretty sure it's on the PlayStation 4. I know it's on the 360 and PlayStation 3. It's on the Wii, it's on the Wii U. Which is funny considering Street Fighter 2's heralded as the best Street Fighter game ever.
Yeah.
And the only time they re-released that is in compilations.
I've honestly only ever played Street Fighter 3. Except for maybe like once or twice I played the other one, like the 4. But that was pretty sure that was just because it was like it was at a friend's house or something.
I've never played
I didn't
Street
really
Fighter ever.
care.
Good. Yeah. This is it.
You need one more favor? Really?